Look at that balance. Here comes the Cardinal blitz. Geno Smith, light spiral, intercepted by Tyler. We're back.
Well, it's Monday night, a new week has begun. I turn on
Saw that coming, and Dasson's coming over after getting that hand hit. And then Shaq Barrett plays, looking at that hand.
The biggest game each week is there.
The touchdown. We saw Philip Lindsay come off the field indicating an issue with his right hand. You can see right there.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? We're ready. Are you ready for some football? A Monday night party. Hey, this is Rocky with
Podcast, the official podcast of the Are You Ready for Some Football Fantasy Football League. As always, I'm your host, Dan Murray, joined with my co-host, Dominic Cordero. How you doing, Nick?
Doing great. Guess who it is?
Yeah.
We're here. We made it.
Yeah, a rare moment of justice in this league, you know?
It's about time. Finally to get some screen time here. They've been holding off for half a season.
Yeah, it's been absurd, you know? There's a specific contingent of this league, you know, that constantly I feel like is thwarted by the powers that be.
Yeah, they have their favorites they bring on and just ignore everybody else. So we're doing a takeover.
Yeah, it's about time. It's about time, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So talking about the powers that be, there's been a lot of talk in the league this year about a power division that you put together a specific group of teams to accomplish a specific dream that you had.
I did. I mean, well, look at the records first, right? I mean, those don't lie. Look at points scored. Those don't lie. So I formed together. You could say the league is stacked, very stacked, and we're kicking everybody's ass this year, including our own. So I'm proud to be the commissioner of what will probably go down as the best division in league history. We're making history here. So
yeah, as a non division member, I don't even know who the fourth member of your division is. Who's the fourth guy in there?
Oh yeah, Parker, Colin, and I don't know, some other guy. He's not too relevant.
Okay, yeah. Well, I didn't even know Parker was in there. So I guess I didn't know two of the guys who were in there.
Yeah. And actually, that gets me to one thing I need to get off my chest. I've been denied screen time here for half the season, and I just need to call someone out as a total fraud, and that's going to be Hunter Rube. We see his record, we see the scores maybe, but are we all just going to forget that this man has lost 4 championships?
Yeah,
that is fraud-like behavior here. Consistently fraud behavior. I mean, this is a guy that, not only the championships, but I feel like every year he's pretty damn good in the regular season, and he just chokes it away in the playoffs every year.
He's a front runner.
Yeah, he's a fraud is what he is.
And it's kind of hard to argue that.
Yeah, and Parker put some nice little thing in the group chat today. He's the first ever 8-0 team. Well, he's the first ever 8-0 fraud in the league as well.
Actually, I think that's interesting you bring it up, though, because my big takeaway from that little statistic I was put in the group me today, filming this on November 2nd, timestamp it so y'all can go back and check the group me. The stat listed that 2 teams are most comparable. We're both like 5-0 teams, so no one's been anywhere near close to them. But neither one won a championship. So if anything, my takeaway is being undefeated late into the season is not a good indicator of actually winning the league.
No, you know what it is? It's fraud-like behavior. And Hunter Rube has stepped it up to the extreme this year on his fraud-like behavior.
Are you saying this is the most fraudulent he's ever been?
I think he is, yeah. Think about frauds. They look good, do great, but when it's time to put, money's on the line, they fold. And he's going to fold again this year.
So he's lost 4 championships, correct?
4 championships.
Basically half the championships.
Yeah, pretty much. How many other years has he been in playoffs and lost heartbreakers? So I just see nothing but disappointment after disappointment. And now we're going to pretend like he's the best in the league. Watching other podcasts, people are saying he's the best team. No, he's not. He's just a big old fraud.
Yeah, 4 out of 12. Yeah, that's basically half. That's basically half the championships he's been in, and then hasn't really come through. Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, the tough thing is though, at times I feel like my team is cut from the same cloth as Hunter. You know, I've never won a championship. Have you won a championship, Nick?
I never made one.
Yeah, damn, man. You know? Yeah.
But at least I haven't lost one. You know how many championships I've lost? 0.
Undefeated, never
Do you
lost.
know how many championships he's lost? 4.
4.
It's bad. It's fraud-like behavior.
I mean, yeah, to be fair, I guess it is a tough question to ask. Would you rather be there consistently? Would you rather be the Buffalo Bills coming in, year out, getting just, butt whopped by whoever shows up, whatever guy it is that year? And I mean, yeah, I gotta say that though. I really look at his roster and I think, good. I don't think it's juggernaut. I don't think it's me with the 2 QB system year where I had Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers.
Nope.
I don't think it's your super team.
No, definitely not a super team.
I don't think it's Colin coming off the defeated season to bounce back to win a championship where he's a team of destiny either.
Yeah, there is zero destiny with this guy.
Yeah, I mean, there is a destiny. Losing the championship.
Losing the championship. Okay, very true.
Yeah, it looks like there probably is because he'll make the playoffs. He's already got 8 wins.
Oh, 100%. I just don't know who's going to lose to in the playoffs this year. That's what we're all waiting to find out. So, Hunter, maybe next time you get on the show or they give you another podcast, maybe predict who you're going to lose to and let everybody down this year. Just the thought.
Give a shout out to who's getting the ship.
Yeah, pretty much. So glad that's off my chest. That's been a long time coming. Just watching him on his little run. It's all fraudulent.
Yeah, no, I mean I can relate to that. Talking about runs as well and getting back to divisions and stuff. How do you feel about the discussion about my division as being the runt of the litter? Do you think that's accurate, or do you think just we're kind of down on our luck? And what do you think's going on there?
Don't you guys have Ben?
Yeah, and Thomas.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Ben alone made it, but it's kind of tough because you're forced to be together, right? It's not your fault that Ben's team sucks.
I actually take a lot of pride, in this division. And I actually think it's kind of interesting listening to the podcast the past few weeks and how, I've fairly been credited with like 2 or 3 extra wins just because I get to play them in the future, but I really don't think enough credit has been given to the fact that I have more like 5 free wins, or actually 6 on the full year. I'm going to sweep this division. Are
you on track to sweep?
Yeah, I'm going to get the sweep.
Oh, yeah.
Real G's move in silence, and I've been silent long enough. I'm just going to call it like it is at this point. Joe's team's not that good. And
no.
I mean, like I said, going into the year, the only team I was scared of in my division was Thomas. I had legitimate fears that Thomas would sweep me. Thomas actually does have a good history against me for whatever reason it may be. But obviously it's not his year. So I think I'm just going to sweep this division. And it's not going to be hard.
I think that's very reasonable. I mean, Thomas's team blew up. Ben's team was always bad. And then Joe is very beatable. So that'd be great. That might also make history. We could have
get this. I think Ben's team better than Joe's team.
Better than Joe's team?
Yeah.
Ben's team is awful.
What does that say about Joe's team?
They're pretty bad too. I mean, Joe has put up some stinkers.
Yeah.
So
I think, and here's the thing too. I also think as much as I know, like we're gonna have Parker say later on the podcast. I think Parker definitely has a lot of feelings about his rivalry with Joe, and I definitely think Joe can't get the monkey off his back that is Ben. I think Ben has had Joe's number for a little bit.
That's a good take. Ben has Joe's number.
Yeah,
I like it.
I think whether or not Ben Ben might only make it to 6 and 8, but Joe might be stuck at 5 and 9, right behind him.
Could be. I would love to see a Ben victory over Joe. That'd make me very happy.
Yeah, I think I've got something coming for you guys later that Ben actually sits at the top of. It's been something we've been working on here at the podcast for a little while. He's one of the highest rated teams at it. We'll show you it after the break. But yeah, what else you been looking at the league thinking of, Nick?
I think next is you talked about a minute ago, Thomas, maybe a bit of a disappointing year. We were kind of high on him, but are we ready for good Thomas as a league? Think of the shitstorm that's going to bring. He's always been bad, 5-8 and shit.
Yeah.
Are we ready for like a 10-4 Thomas?
Could the league survive it?
Could the league survive? I mean, we may never play fantasy football again together if Thomas wins the league.
I mean, we survived a Colin championship.
We
I
did.
think that says a lot. And actually, we've survived not only a Colin championship, but like a renaissance of Colin Lindrew teams, where consistently Colin comes out year after year and just puts up gaudy numbers.
Yeah, that's a problem. I feel like he was one of the first picks in the first divisional draft too, and he has done pretty well since.
Yeah, and unlike some teams, not fraudulent. Has the hardware to back it up.
Colin is
up.
legit.
Yeah, just
not a
straight
fraud.
Up. Yeah. So I think if we can survive a pivotal shift like that, but then again, Thomas is Thomas, man. He'll take.
I think Thomas has a lot of built-up hellfire to bring to this league if he secures any type of meaningful playoff run. I mean, he's probably been saving this up for 10, 15 years. We named the loser trophy after him. Are we ready for the hellfire Thomas will bring down on us?
I could be about it. Honestly, I'd be fine if Thomas wins, making Thomas commissioner.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'll go that far.
That's a statement.
I think he's earned it.
I feel like we as a league are kind of sitting on a fault line, and Thomas is the earthquake to blow everything up with. It's just waiting. You don't know when. It could be 100 more years, but when it happens, good luck, everybody.
Yeah, no. I mean, you got to think. Okay, in terms of Mount Rushmore of owners in this league, I think Thomas is absolutely up on that Mount Rushmore for sure. Obviously, DJ's the biggest head on that Rushmore.
Yeah. Lance
Moore, first round pick. And truly an incredible moment. That's all you needed. That might as well has been his FDR moment, But yeah, I think DJ is up there. I think Thomas probably is up there. Is anyone up on that Mount Rushmore for any good reason? Would be the tougher question.
Well, I mean, what kind of Mount Rushmore are we talking about here? Just the general one, because there's a lot to talk about with Thomas. I think he could definitely get a hit up there, and people are like, oh yeah, Thomas, yeah, he always sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But until he doesn't, then he blows up Mount Rushmore. I don't know. Don't give Thomas ammo.
It sounds like you just view Thomas as a purely explosive force.
He is.
For better and for worse.
Well, he is very dormant. His team is awful again. We're safe for another year. But I mean, think about the group me even when Thomas is dominating. Mm-hmm. We're in some trouble. Maybe fun, chaotic trouble, but it's going to be an interesting year. Maybe not. I don't know. Think about it. We've never seen it. So, after all these years, there's still some big unknowns of what would happen if Thomas started winning.
And Lord help us. Hopefully we never will have to see it.
Hopefully not. I don't think we will, but no one's really recognized that possibility. I feel like, maybe just off in the distance, I'll be like, well, let's keep an eye on this asteroid coming for Earth.
And no one else is really listening to you.
No, they're not.
Yeah, everyone views him kind of as a small market team, thinks he's just always going to suck, and then it'll sneak up on us.
Gets picked first in the draft. Well, maybe that's been spun now. Gets picked second in the draft every time.
I mean, the problem for Thomas is, though, I mean, if there was ever a time for him to rack up easy wins and to, really make some noise, this would be the time.
Yeah, well, I mean, think about it. This is the year because we have a fraudulent guy at the top. He's not winning. It's really wide open. At second place is you at 5-3. I see the door wide open for a championship.
I mean, where's he at right now? Does he have 4 losses?
Oh, he's bad. He might be last, and then all his players are hurt.
I mean, he's
or they
also
just
out
suck.
here doing weird stuff. He's out here starting guys that don't even play. Yeah, like
Yeah, he was probably about 4 months too early on the OBJ benching. And I just have one more thing to get off my chest, and we'll move on. The podcast kind of stopped. We never had a championship conclusion podcast, but I need to call out Joe on the Mickey Mouse Championship he won last year. Just be Parker here for a minute. Some stats. He was 7-7 coming into the playoffs. He was not even above 500. He lost as many times as he won.
I was seated ahead of him. I had my team was injury plagued, was written off. If I think I can quote Joe on it, I don't expect Dan to be ahead of the 9th seed for the rest of the season. And yet somehow my bum team that I drugged to the playoffs was still seated ahead of him. And not just with wins, losses here. I beat him out on head-to-head scoring as well.
Yeah. See, that's so embarrassing, right? And he won the championship game with 105 points. 105 points. That would lose you most games in a week. But you're going to win a championship on that performance? It's bad. Joe does this shit usually, but I would say this is the biggest Mickey Mouse championship we've had as a league.
Yeah, I do find it just incredibly peculiar that having looked at the luck stats, everyone is within like a nice standard deviation of about 3 games. Like they're the second most lucky person is about 3 games over. I think it used to be me. I think I'm a little below that now. And like the least lucky person is about 3 games. And I think Ben might be slightly out of that. There's one person who's slightly out of that standard deviation, but I think most everyone is between 3 games of 500 on luck. And then Joe Stevens was a whopping 7 games over. Yeah. Just a total extra deviation outside of it. An absurdly lucky team.
And I guess that's the game we play with fantasy. And sometimes you just get a lucky run in the playoffs and you get a trophy after totally not deserving it all year. So,
but yeah, do you do that like 3 times?
He'd win 3 games, and I'm not going to pull it up now, but I don't think any were too impressive.
I mean, he's done it for 3 years.
Oh yeah, no, he's how many championships? 3 or 4? Yeah,
he has 3.
Yeah. I'm not going to comment about the other 2 because I don't really remember them. But
I'll
last
tell you
one,
what they were.
Mickey Mouse.
They were lucky.
They were lucky.
They were lucky.
Oh.
In fact, he beat me the one year my team was actually good. Yeah.
Yeah. See, he just steals championships from deserving teams.
From deserving teams.
Maybe not Rube's teams, but the other teams he's beat.
I think he had one legitimate championship against a fraud. But then again, when you're beating a fraud.
Also, very good point. If you're beating a fraud too, what does it really count for?
And we haven't done anything to stop this.
We haven't. I know one guy with some power to perhaps stop some of this.
Yeah.
We've got an issue in the league.
And teams keep trading with these guys.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
Keep trading with them. They keep benefiting them. And then we're all just so surprised when the end of the year, good teams take L's.
Yeah.
Bad teams keep moving on. Nothing.
At least we have the one consistency with our fraud. In some ways, he's holding the league together by his consistency.
Arguably, yeah. Actually, that's a better question. Is the league actually ready for a Hunter Rube championship?
Oh, it'll never happen. It's impossible. There's fraud written into every atom inside his bones and his body. He's 100% made up of just fraudulent matter.
Mm-hmm.
It can't happen.
If we just live in denial of it, then we'll be prepared for it if it does occur. But if it's just impossible, then why even worry?
Yeah, literally impossible.
Well, that's reassuring.
Yeah, no, at least you don't have to worry about that. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Especially if it's on the other side of the bracket of me.
Yeah, see, it'd be fine. Just because he's 8-0 doesn't mean anything. That doesn't make him less of a fraud.
Where do you think he ends up on the season?
Probably 1 loss going in the playoffs with a bye.
I'm really hoping for undefeated.
Yeah, undefeated with another championship loss would be very fun.
Truly incredible. Truly.
Yeah. But is that almost too predictable?
Yeah. No, not for him.
No,
That would be the piece de resistance for him.
It would very much so.
Yeah. Yeah, talking about piece de resistance, let's hear from our advertisers now, huh?
And a little bit of chicken fried. Cold beer on a Friday night. A pair of jeans that fit just right. And the radio.
Get 5 boneless wings for $1 with any handcrafted burger. Only at Applebee's.
All right, welcome back from that ad break. We're back here with our guest of tonight, Parker Say. Welcome, Parker.
Thanks for having me on.
So Parker, what's it like on the other side?
It's weird. I feel like I've got to be ready for all sorts of questions from any direction.
Oh, you do.
Spending hours preparing for what could get asked.
Yeah, well, me and Dan have just been excluded from this platform for half a season, so we're ready to go. So, all right, first question, Parker. You've been the commish for how long now? Basically the whole league?
Yes.
Okay, if you had to kick one person out, who would it be?
If I had to kick one person out.
Yeah, someone has to go. Who's it going to be?
I would say Joe. I'm getting tired of his luck. Yes, I'm getting tired of his luck. And I haven't beat him in our last 8 games. So for purely selfish reasons, Joe has to go.
It's a good pick. What about maybe someone like Grant? He's winning a lot. It's kind of annoying.
That is true. I think we could think about having a policy that the team that wins just gets kicked out.
That's fine with me. Well, especially Grant, because he's won how many times now and made more championships. Kind of getting sick of his shit here.
Yeah, definitely. If he would have won 3 in a row last year, we would have to think about that.
That was definitely on the table. Grant, you're lucky.
Yeah, I actually think that's actually that actually really matches up well with a metric I've actually been putting together over the course of this season, and I've really been thinking about it a long time. Ever since the introduction of the Murray, widely acclaimed metric for measuring teams, I think you'll see it right now as I put up on the screen here. I call it the Toops. As you can see here, Joe clearly at the bottom of it with Grant right there following him. You can see Ben Toops, the namesake of it, clearly the most fun team that I like having in the league. Thomas Haney, a close second. I think it's a pretty representative picture of what the league is like to be a member of, who should stay in the league, and who should leave the league.
I don't see anything.
It's not showing.
We'll put it in post, Parker.
Oh, we're gonna put it in the video.
We're gonna put it in post. You can put whatever the fuck you want in the chart right now.
I see. Okay. Yes. Obviously, as I see.
Yeah.
So, Parker, final decision, Joe, because we could get the balls moving here on let's get Grant out of here.
Yeah. I mean, I could go either way between Joe or Grant. I think it's more personal with Joe for me.
Right.
And Joe also has the most championships.
Yep.
But I mean, you could certainly make the argument for Grant based on recent success.
Yeah, I agree. Parker, what do you think about Joe's last championship? I'm kind of calling it a Mickey Mouse championship. Just for some facts for you, he was 7-7 and won the championship game with 105 points. That seems pretty Mickey Mouse to me.
I do agree, but that's sort of Joe's thing. He will sort of limp into the playoffs no matter what. So I would say your point is valid, but also if that's the case, then really all of Joe's championships are Mickey Mouse championships, which is maybe what we should be talking about.
Maybe we should be, because he is the king of Mickey Mouse championships. This one was especially bad, I think. Probably the most Mickey Mouse championship we've seen in the entire league through this however many years.
Yeah, that's I haven't thought about that point, but I could certainly agree with that. I mean, 7-7, really, you should probably not even be in the playoffs. So we shouldn't even count that championship, really.
No, he should not have even been there. And then he kind of limps his way and looks his way through, just like he always does. So actually, that's a good answer, Parker. I wasn't expecting a good answer here. So
the quality.
Well done. Yeah.
Really surpassed our expectations here.
Yeah. Thanks.
Do you feel like Joe has really been detrimental to your mental health? Just as a person, let alone as an owner in the league.
Yeah, 1,000%. When I was actually, this is a very timely question. The other day, I was at work and I was just in a really pissy mood, and I was just man, this day can't end quick enough. And then I was just really grumpy, and I was kind of snappy talking to people. And I was thinking about it. I was like, man, what has me in such a bad mood? Like, I've just been in a horrible mood for the last 2 days. And I was like, oh, yeah, my team's going down the shitter. I lost again. And just like, affects my entire life, really. It's not healthy at all. And Joe is probably definitely the one that I talk to the most about things going on in the league. So that's even worse because it's like, yeah, his team's on the upswing. My team's on the downswing. I can never beat him. I would say by and large as a whole, definitely.
Yeah, no, I definitely think we've seen that as well, and us looking back over the course of the season. And I think this is a great opportunity for us to, look back on one of probably your lowest moments. And maybe you walk us through it, huh?
I don't think that is necessary. This, and I guess it's kind of weird sounding because it's week 2, and it really probably in the grand scheme of things is not that big of a deal. But this was maybe the least fun I've had watching football on a Sunday ever. Like I don't ever recall a time where I had at no point in the day any hope of anything. And you're right, it started. So on the Thursday night game, it was we each had one player. I had Joe Everett, you had Josh Palmer. Josh Palmer's like projected 3 or 4 more points. So I'm thinking, okay, if I get close, whatever, it'll be good. And the whole game, Josh Palmer's playing terrible. He's just bad in general. It was like 10 points to 2 or 3. And I was like, oh, this is a great night. I'm just gonna roll. We're just gonna roll over Joe. This job is over. Whatever, my team's good. This is gonna be a great year. And then at the very end of the game, Josh Palmer scores a touchdown, and all of a sudden, you're beating me after Thursday night football, which is fine in a vacuum. But the way it happened just reminded me that this is just the way things are going to go. This year about sums it up. I shouldn't have faith in my team.
What's that, Parker?
Oh,
I said, yeah. I think that about sums it up.
Oh no, it gets a little bit worse.
Keep going.
Let's see.
Because this is just what I'm going to get. This is just what I'm going to get forever. I haven't beat you in fantasy since 2015, 8 games in a row. Which
is that bad?
Well, no, from my team name. And
It's been a long time.
This was probably what?
Your old team name.
My old team name, yeah. And this was probably the worst because it was just so inevitable. The whole Sunday, like I came into Sunday projected to win by 15.
I think right here, stop right here, catch it. This is the moment I think I can see hope leaving Parker's eyes right here.
This is a rough segment.
Are you feeling better about your chances than you were in this moment here?
I would have maybe said yes before last week. Now I don't know. I mean, it's hard to feel worse, but I don't know if I really feel better either.
So
I'm about at this point right now.
Oh, geez, man, I'm sorry. And Joe's responsible for this?
Not exclusively Joe, but that's a large part of it for sure.
Probably the Rams offense. Rams offense probably has a lot to do with it.
Yes. Yes, Rams offense, Jonathan Taylor's injury. There's a lot of other people responsible, but I would say primarily Joe. And just knowing how to lose.
Very reasonable.
Slowly just melted away. And I don't think your team played great. I mean, obviously Jalen Waddle did. And, my team was just kind of bad across the board. But this is just what's going to happen. I just won't ever beat you. And maybe I'll never have fun watching football ever again. I think I'm certainly done with watching football on Sundays for the short term, maybe for the long term. And I don't know. I was trying to think about, is this more about you or is this more about me? Did you win it or did I lose it? And I think no, neither of those things happened. It just was already determined. The outcome was already determined. There's no winning. There's no losing. It just, we might as well not play. We might as well just both bench our lineups. I'll take the loss. You get the win because that's essentially what this is. Yeah. That, looking back on it, that was a low moment. There have been other low moments, but I would say since then, there's been a meaningful change in the amount of football that comes across my television screen, for sure. The next week, I don't think I watched a single snap. And then since then, week 4 on, I will admit, Nick, that week 4 Monday night game did give me a little bit of enjoyment after that. And since then, I've pretty much just watched the Island games on TV, so the Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night, and even then, not 100% of them, because I've never recovered. I'll never recover from week 2, 2022.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it's a perfect segue into our next portion of the show, our pick'em portion. Looking forward, maybe you'll have a more positive outlook on what's to come here. So first game up we got on the slate here. We've got Zach versus Joe. All right, Nick, what's your take on Zach taking on Joe?
I don't know. I mean, Zach's a pretty big guy, and Joe's not. So, like, putting him in a ring, I'm gonna go with a heavyweight here. I'm picking Zach.
I pick Zach as well. I think I like Joe's height. Obviously, I mean, I'm definitely gonna be
Joe's got some reach. He's got some reach, but
for sure,
I think Zach can just overpower him. So
yeah,
I'm going Zach.
I think hammer Zach on this pick. What about you, partner?
I can't bet against the reach. Zach's not gonna be able to get in there tight, so I'll take Joe.
Okay. Wow. All right.
Bit of an fair enough.
There. All right. Keeping it moving here. Austin versus Ben. All right. I like Ben. We were talking about this before the show. Ben has a wrestling background. Definitely got some grappling skills. I think it's a good matchup going both ways. I would take Ben in this scenario.
Go ahead, Parker.
I think Ben is a little bit scrappier than Austin. He does have the fighting wrestling background, but Austin's got a better fantasy football team. I guess that's not relevant to this discussion, so I'll take Ben also.
No, that's not. I'm gonna go with Austin here. I think Ben may gas out a bit too quick, and Austin's probably just got just enough size to counteract that scrappiness of Ben. So I'm picking Austin here.
All right. I can kind of see that. To be fair, that might be I would call it our second closest matchup of the week.
Yeah, for sure.
Coming into game 4 here, it's me versus Parker. Obviously, I'm gonna be partial to myself in this scenario. I do think Parker having a medical background. I have some some internal ailments that maybe he could take advantage of. He's well knowledgeable about. I'm still gonna go me, but I wouldn't bet on it.
That is true.
Yeah. I'm gonna go. I think Dan too. I'm just got to go with my co-host here and this one.
Yeah, we're a team. We're a team here.
We are a team.
Are you ready for some fantasy football podcast?
I do. Yeah. I do think I could hopefully take advantage of some of the weak spots, but I'm not one to pick myself, and I'm also not one to pick against reach, as we know. So I'll take you, Dan.
Going with the reach. Reach is a common theme here. Definitely, all right, I like it.
Big reach day. Yeah. Game 5, we have Nick versus Morgan. Also, solid matchup here. Solid matchup.
Yeah, this one will be close.
Where are you on this, Parker?
Well, we do know Morgan wrestled in school. So, but if Nick's been skiing a lot, doing the cardio, he may have a little more endurance. So I could see it going either way. If Morgan can get after him quickly, maybe he can make the difference. But it shouldn't let Nick hang around. I think I'll take Morgan.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
What do you think, Nick?
I think this is a tough one. You got to respect Morgan's power. I think he's got some good power in him from those wrestling days, but I think I can outlast him. This might be a 7-8 rounder, but I'll come out in the end.
Yeah, this one.
I think I can tire him out.
It's definitely a tough one. As a tiebreaker in this one, I think ultimately I've got to go with the guy that wore the same pair of shoes to school, to basketball practice, to just basically everything for like 3 straight years, regardless of sport or time or weather. I got to go with Nick Cordero on this one.
Yeah, see, that's some grit. I got grit on my side.
Grit and grind. Yeah, all right, and to close us out, definitely the marquee matchup of the week. It's Thomas Haney versus Hunter Rube.
Oh, yeah.
Really really a tremendous matchup. Couldn't ask for better for a main event here. Guys in the same weight class, same size range, both around 6'2". Really love what I'm seeing here. What are you thinking about it, Nick?
I got Root. I think Thomas may be, kind of thought of more than maybe what he is in this one. I think probably the money would be on him, and I just don't know if I see it in him. I'm taking Root.
You just think it's a matter of heart?
I think it's heart here. Well, they're evenly matched up, and I think he's got the heart.
You think Hunter has the heart?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Hunter, obvious the guy, high testosterone, definitely looks like he has high T. That's gotta count for something. Thomas, Thomas isn't afraid to punch a dude in the balls during a game of pickup basketball, though. The dude's a scrapper as well.
True.
Yeah. Really, I gotta take the over on this one. Whatever the round count is, I'm going over it. I think they go the distance on this one. That's my pick. What do you think, Parker?
I like that. I don't think either of these guys are going to lie down easily. I worry about the medical history for Hunter. Multiple right shoulder separations. Thomas is going to be looking for any shot below the belt or otherwise cheap shot he can take at any weakness he sees. So I think I'll take Thomas.
That's a good pick. I would peg Thomas as probably the dirtiest fighter in the league. So.
Without a doubt,
I think that checks out.
Without doubt, that's really good insight. I hadn't considered Hunter's injury history, and Thomas would absolutely not give any quarter to any injury or ailment.
No, that's a good pick, actually.
Yeah. Talking about pick'ems and parlays, though, takes us into our final segment of the day.
So we are doing a league first 3-game parlay using Fab Bucks. So the odds will be 8-1. This is mathematical 50-50 odds. And the 3 games available here in this parlay is me versus Morgan, Dan versus Parker, and then Joe versus Zach. So if anyone would like to set up a parlay, please contact me. We will be using Fab Bucks at a odds of 8-1. So if you want to get paid out, you have to pick. So someone can challenge me and I'll pick the games, but you got to pay me out and I get to wager the money. Or the reverse, maybe you want to pick some games and strike big on the Fab Bucks. I'll sponsor it, just let me know. One thing we do have to clarify is you can't get over leveraged, because I feel like the league would get really pissed off. And so no over leveraging.
Yeah, no.
We do have 2 members of the board are here. This is approved. Sorry, Joe. So anyone watching, we do have a 3-game parlay set up this week using our Fab dollars. Parker, do you care to join in?
I guess so. So how does this work? So I have to wager some amount of Fab Bucks that you could potentially pay out 8-1.
Yes, but you have to get all 3 picks right.
Right.
You can only pick from the 3 games I just said of me versus Morgan, Dan versus Parker, and Joe versus Zach. And you can't over leverage me.
I don't know how much Fab Bucks you have.
I don't either. I need to find out that number. I think I've been spending, so.
Okay. Right now you have 76 Fab Bucks.
Okay.
So I'll do a $2 parlay. That way you'll still have some for some other people.
Okay.
All right. The 3 games are me and Dan, you and Morgan, and Joe and whoever Joe's playing.
Joe versus Zach.
Okay. I think I'll obviously pick Dan.
Okay. Classic Parker.
Yeah. I'll obviously pick Joe. So really I only have to pick 1 game here, which is you and Morgan. So let me take a look here. I see you're favored. So I'm gonna pick straight up. I could take the favorite.
It was close. I think you're calling it now, which is good. If Keenan plays, this one will be very close. If he doesn't, I may have an edge here.
Yeah, I'll take you. I'm gonna go with the favorite here. I feel pretty
okay.
safe.
So this is a $2 Fab bet. Okay. 2 to pay 16. We'll see how it goes.
All right, I like it.
And this is just straight, like, 50-50 odds. No one's in favor or out of favor, but you do get the advantage of picking. What's your record this year, Parker? Is it positive?
I think I'm around 500. I don't think I'm that good, really. Joe's like very far over 500.
Yeah, actually, everyone but Joe can do this.
Yeah, Joe's about 70% on his picks, probably.
Yeah, Joe, you're not allowed in this. Everyone else is allowed.
It's a conflict of interest. Can't have a board member like Joe participating.
Yeah.
No, it's unethical.
Unethical.
So everyone but Joe.
All right, I like it.
Yeah. All right. So that about does it for tonight's episode of Are You Ready for a Podcast? The official podcast of the Are You Ready for Some Football Fantasy Football League. Remember to dislike, don't comment, unsubscribe, and report. Have a good night.
Is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.